Hello again YouTube, it's Judska, again on DiplexHeated channel, and today we're going to be looking at a quick tips video brought to you by the letter G, for game breaking, at least for the first two tips. So let's get started and look at the Churchill Mark 7, and looking at the stats we can actually see it has quite a lot of armor on the front, rear, and sides. It's kind of what the characteristic of the Churchill tank is, but not on the top, only 20 millimeters. So we can exploit this by firing HE shells close to the top of the tank, by firing at the turret and upper hull armor. 75mm guns and above produce a shockwave big enough to actually kill the tank, and you can stay safely at max range while doing so, because HE shells do not rely on kinetic energy. And for comparison, here's how close you must be to penetrate the front with apcr shells, so it makes a pretty big difference on the Churchill Mark 7 and makes it pretty useless. For our next tip, if there are lightly armored vehicles far away from you and you want to kill them in style, i.e. far shoot them, and there's no far shooting object, and by the way, far shooting is just shooting beyond the maximum range the game allows, all you have to do is buy a nation's supply truck and shoot through the canvas section. It's pretty difficult to explain without an example, so let's take a look. If we move the truck in between you and your target, and you aim at your target, a green dot should appear on the truck as long as the truck is in between you and the target. So we're going to aim at the green dot on the truck and shoot. The round will go straight through the canvas of the truck, killing your target. It's a great way for killing self-propelled artillery too, or using apcr rounds, which have a limited range. So for my last tip, we're going to look at how to do a 1v1 start correctly against one of my 1v1 sparring buddies. And I always start off with an assault squad. And by the way, I placed third in the last 1v1 international tournament. So I think I have some backup here when I'm talking about what I know what I'm doing in playing a 1v1 game. And 1v1s are great for actually learning how to play the game better. I think it's the best way to actually learn. So I like assault squads because I can buy single infantry. Single infantry is great for attacking all three flags at the same time at the start, and getting you a good line of sight, so you can't be flanked, you can't be snuck into spawns, stuff like that. So I think assault squads, including team games, are really good to start out with, because you can get those single infantry, and those are really game changers in the beginning. And by now you can probably already see that I'm playing as the Soviets and my opponent is playing Germany. But I've run into a big problem here on the center point. My opponent has put on the STG-44 on that wall, and I couldn't get to the house first for cover, so that's going to make me basically locked out of the center point, because the STG is basically a miniature machine gun. So you can use that really effectively as Germany. That's your main asset in the beginning of the game. But that's not a problem, because we only need 2 points to get the cap going here, and the center point is only 1 point, so that STG-44, there's only one guy there. He can only lock down 1 point in the beginning. That's why we buy those singles. That's why we spam them. Spamming infantry in the beginning is really effective and actually essential to winning a 1v1 game. And if you're playing team games, you're going to need to be able to do that too. You're going to have to get a lot of infantry on the field really fast. And it's basically as simple as that. If you have more troops than your enemy, you're basically going to be winning the game. That's how kind of multiplayer works. If you have more MP on the field than your opponent, then you're going to be winning. So don't buy shit like AT rifles or anything like that. You just need infantry. That's all you need in the beginning, at least. And that's really what 1v1s revolve around. Anyway, that's it for today's episode of Quick Tips. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you also learned something and made yourself a better player in Men of War. I'd like to see that.